Hi, I'm Kathleen Jasper, and today we're talking about setting boundaries and how to say no. This is something I go over in Teach a Survival Guide for New Educators, which is my book for new teachers. And it's something that I think a lot of people need to work on, myself included. Let's get started. So one of the hardest things for me to do when I was a new teacher was to say no and to set boundaries. It was so difficult because I really wanted to impress my principal and my colleagues. And I also wanted to move up and I wanted to make people proud. And so I thought by saying yes to everything that I was doing that. And what I actually was doing was putting too much on my plate, burning myself out, and becoming resentful because I had so much going on and I couldn't breathe. I was literally working 24/7. And that is because of me, not because of anybody else. I had a hard time saying no to things. And I'm sure I'm not the only one in this position because this is a topic that lots of people talk about. And it is especially true for educators because we are expected to do so much more with less. Every year it gets more and more. And it gets to be really difficult. And so I recommend learning to set these boundaries early so you don't have to go back and fix a bunch of stuff that you broke because you had a hard time saying no. So when I was first starting my company, I was listening to a lot of podcasts and I heard this one podcast from a woman, I don't even remember her name, but she said the way she determines whether or not she does something is a simple measure. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And what she meant was, if someone asks her to do something, if she doesn't have the feeling of hell yes, that sounds amazing, I want to do that, then she immediately says no. Now, this is really difficult for people because most people don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We have a society full of people pleasers. We also have a society full of people who, want to prove themselves and show that we can do things so that we can get the promotion we want or we can get the accolades we need. And so saying hell no to somebody is really difficult to do. Now, I recommend you say no, thank you. I think saying hell no to your principal, assistant principal, husband, kids, relatives, whatever it may be, is a little disrespectful, but you get the idea of what she was trying to say. It was like, pay attention to your visceral reaction. If a family member comes up to you and says, we'd really like to have Thanksgiving at your house this year, and you immediately go, oh God, no, I do not want to put on Thanksgiving, then you know that should be a no, thank you right away. Or if you're someone who can't wait to do Thanksgiving at your house and you just bought a new home and you want to have everybody over, then that would be a hell yes, I would love to do that. But you know what I'm talking about. It is that initial feeling when someone asks you to do something, your gut will tell you right away if it's something you should do or if it's something you shouldn't do. And most of us ignore our gut. We say yes in the moment to things that we don't want to do. And we do that because we feel pressure. Our principal's standing in front of us. We don't know what to say, and we want to prove ourselves. And so we say yes, 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 yes. And the more we say yes, the more they pile on. And it just becomes a never-ending feedback loop. And before you know it, you're burnt out and you want to quit teaching or quit whatever job you're in. This is not just for teachers. This goes for anybody who is a people pleaser or anyone who says yes way too much. So if you're someone who cannot say no right away, what I recommend you do is you say, that sounds interesting. Let me have a look at my schedule and I'll get back to you. That immediately takes the pressure off of you saying no to the person's face. And you could say no in an email a day later. Or you can say, let me think about that. I'll get back to you before the end of the week, before the end of the day, whatever it is. And that buys you a little bit of time to kind of sit down and go, you know what, I really don't want to do this. And then you can craft an email or whatever you need to do to say no to this person. Now, I want you to understand another thing. No is a complete sentence. You do not have to say, well, I can't because I have to take my daughter to this and I have this and oh my gosh, I forgot about this thing and I'd really love to, but all of that just sets you up for more explaining, more stress. Just practice saying no, thank you, if you can in the moment. And if you can't, say, That sounds interesting. Let me have a look at my calendar and I will get back to you. And then when you do draft an email, you just say, I had a look at everything. I am unavailable. Thank you so much. That's it. 3 sentences, 1 sentence. I am unavailable. Thank you. Even when you say it out loud, oh, thanks for asking, but I'm unavailable. That's it. You don't have to say why you're unavailable. You don't have to make up all the reasons why you're unavailable, doctor's appointments, everything else. Just say that. The less you say, the better. And I've learned this the hard way. I used to over-explain, and all it does is dig yourself into a hole that you can't get out of. Just say no. It's okay to say no. Another thing it's okay to ask for is compensation. So let's say somebody asks you to supervise the computer lab 3 days a week after school. That's a lot of work, actually. Oh, it's just for an hour each day after school. Well, that's 3 hours a week. That's 12 hours a month. Start adding it up and it's money, honey. So what you can say is, that might be something I'm interested in. Is there a stipend available for those who are deciding to do this supervision? And if it's no, then it's a no from you. If there's not a stipend and it's an extra hour or 2, 3 days a week or 1 day a week, or I don't even care how often it is, that should be a no. And here's why. Administrators, and they do this because they're getting it from the district office and the district office is getting it from the state. So ultimately, I blame the state, but I digress. They are constantly putting more and more on teachers' plates for less and less money, for fewer and fewer dollars. And so every time we say yes, they continue to do that because they know they'll find someone out there who will say yes for working for no pay. So I recommend you ask, oh, that might be something I'm interested in if you are interested in it. If you're not, it's a no, thank you. I'm busy or I'm unavailable. But if it is something you're interested in, but you'd like to get paid, all you have to do is say, that might be something I'd like to do. Is there a stipend available? Or, what's the stipend for that? If you say, what's the stipend for that? Then there's an assumption that you're asking me to do something extra. You're going to pay me, right? And you don't have to be rude about it. It's not rude to ask to be compensated for your time, period. So I recommend that as well. If you're someone who wants some extra hours, you want some extra work, ask what the stipend is up front. Do not say yes until you understand what you're going to be paid. That's another mistake a lot of new teachers make. I have made it a million times, and I recommend you don't do that. Let me give you a quick example. So this happened a lot in teaching. I got asked to do a lot of things because I would say yes, and I would do everything like 150% because I'm an overachiever and I ran myself ragged. So it happened a lot in education and it was my own fault. Just make sure you are putting yourself first. You may be a mother and a teacher or an uncle and a teacher or not. You may be 24 years old, you have your first teaching gig and you're underwater and you need a minute to come home and decompress and get ready for the next day. That's okay too. You are allowed to say no, and no is a complete sentence. So be respectful, but you do not have to over-explain and you do not have to do a bunch of stuff for free. Set those boundaries now so that you do not have to unlearn bad habits later. All right. So that's everything when it comes to boundaries. I do have more in my book, Teach a Survival Guide for New Educators. I have everything from, how to stay positive in the classroom management, lesson planning, teacher evaluations, how to set boundaries. I've got all these things in here for you with personal stories, and it's very digestible. You can get through this, in a weekend, and it can just sit on your desk and you can reference it. A lot of people have enjoyed this book. I'm really excited about it. New teachers, year 1 to 3, find it very helpful, but I have gotten messages from veteran teachers who love the book as well, which means a lot to me because veteran teachers, I know you're very picky about what you choose to read. So I appreciate that. Let me show you where to get the book and a course that I built around this book that will help you with your first couple years of teaching, or if you're just looking for a refresher. All right. So you can get the book on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. It is free. So if you have that subscription, you can get it there for free, or it's $9.99 for the Kindle book and $14.99 $9.99 for the paperback. You can see we have, lots of 5-star ratings. People have taken pictures with their book. I love to see all this. It's wonderful. And a lot of people are enjoying the book. So I appreciate that. And so what I did was I made an online course because a lot of people enjoy our online courses. This goes with the book. So it is a video course that kind of breaks down all of the concepts in the book. You can also use it as an audio course if you like to listen to your information on the go. And that's at KathleenJasper.com here. And if you just click online courses and go to this first one, Teach a Survival Course for New Educators, you can add that to cart. It'll pull you into our system once you pay for it, and you can watch those videos, and they go great with the book. All right. Thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate you. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the comments below. Please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel if you haven't already and liking this video. I hope you found it helpful, and have an awesome day.